All right, guys, welcome back to an interview on Unhinged. I am joined by Saul Rogers. How's it going?
I'm good. I'm very, very well.
Yeah, I took my time on your name there because we've had a previous encounter where I pronounced it wrong.
There we go. Not again, though. Now, I've taught you well, brother.
That's it. You live and you learn. So I wanted to, obviously fantastic for your time here today. First and foremost, I want to say congratulations. Well, not congratulations, sorry. Welcome back to the cage because it's been over a year now.
Yeah, it has. I was supposed to fight Soren back not long ago. You know, I did a camp out in Thailand, but it was just a disaster. One thing after another, mate. Honestly, Thailand nearly killed me. Never going back.
I was going to speak about your time away. What did you get up to? And obviously, I seen you in Thailand with Brenden Loughnane as well.
Yeah, do you know what? The first couple of weeks started out amazing, and then it was just disaster after disaster. I swear to you, like I've never had in fight camp. You always get a couple injuries, but that camp I've never had as many collective injuries condensed into a couple of weeks in my whole life. You know, it was stitches, stitches in my head, smashed my neck, fractured ribs. You know what I mean? It was just one thing after another. Fell off my moped, all the side of my skin hanging off down one side of my body. It was just a nightmare.
I know Brenden Loughnane's a little bit crazy, but Jesus, what's he been making you do?
I don't know. You know what? He loves it out there, and when he's got it there, he's like, "Oh, lad, you're gonna have the best camp of your life." And I don't know. It's not my kind of style out there. You know, there's no structure. You've got to organise your own stuff. I like someone telling me, "Right, you're gonna be here on this day. We're doing this." You know, instead of kind of left to your own devices.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there was a video. Maybe you were running. I can't remember. You were running up a hill, maybe, and it was towards maybe a monument.
Yeah, big Buddha that. Oh, that's darkness. That run, honestly, it's the hardest one you're ever going to do. I think it's only like 2.5 miles, but it's like that. Hell.
Yeah.
I enjoyed
that. What have you come back with from Thailand? Obviously, maybe the cardio.
You know what? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what I come back with from Thailand. It was a nightmare. I can't even say. Probably the cardio on the pads, because you're smashing the pads out. So your striking cardio, that was probably my biggest improvement, the striking cardio, because you're smashing pads out in that degree of heat. That's about it, really. Apart from that, nothing else.
Nothing beats the streets of Manchester, then.
No. America, then Manchester's a close runner-up.
So let's talk about your important stuff, the fight against Georgie. No, actually, I want to talk about your last fight against Georgie. How are you looking at that now? How are you reflecting on that win?
Do you know what? I was happy because I got the win, but it's kind of sparked something else in me. Whereas, like, I don't know, when I first started coming on the scene, I was a bit more ruthless. I was ruthless in my finishes, and I didn't really kind of give a fuck. I was just I was basically hunting the finishes all the time. If I throw caution to the wind, and that's all I was doing. I was headhunting and kind of going for the finishes. When I fought Georgie, fighting him too cautious, and even though I dominated and I won every round, is like, I'm not even watching the fight back, to be honest. Just because when I do, I'm kind of disappointed, because instead of fighting to put him away, I'm just kind of doing enough to beat him. Do you know what I mean? And I know in my heart I've got more. I know in my heart I could have stopped him, and I could have put him away. Saying that is a tough guy, but I just know I could have given that little bit more, and that's the biggest thing I've took away from that fight now, is that killer instinct, that hangman style's coming back. You know what I mean? I'm hunting finishes now.
Yeah, I mean the Bellator did him no favors, Georgie, because they gave him you. Then they gave him K-Mu, so back to back. Well, not back to back, but a few fights later. I mean, and we've seen how many shots he took in that K-Mu fight. So when you look back at it, maybe you think maybe I couldn't have put him out.
Yeah, I could have. Do you know what? When I'm in the fight, I'm just being too cautious. That's it, and that's the biggest thing I've took from that fight. Honestly, when I'm throwing my ground and pound, I'm a lot more ruthless, and I'm just a lot more volume. I'm hunting them submissions all the time, and I'm just looking at finishing people, and that's all I think whether I'm doing a jiu-jitsu round or a sparring round or something like that. I'm just looking at, right, that shot could have put him away. Obviously, I'm not throwing hard when I'm sparring and stuff, but in my mind, I'm like, right, that would have been a big one. This would have been a big one, and then kind of being a bit more relentless.
Yeah, I remember the last time we spoke. We'll move on to a different subject. Last time we spoke, you said you wanted Manchester in Bellator. Unfortunately, it hasn't happened yet, but K-Musa is on a good run. I think if you win this one, that's 2 back-to-back, and surely that's got to think maybe Scott Coe's got to take it to Manchester.
You know what? I was speaking to someone else about that. I was thinking, I get this win, get some momentum behind me. And, you know, Kane's always on the social media talking up to. I feel like it's very, very likely we might get a Manchester card next year. I'd love that. I would love to do a Manchester card, 100%.
Could you imagine all the Mancs shouting, supporting you as you're in the cage? And the atmosphere. Then I remember the last time they went to, do you remember UFC? I can't remember which UFC it was. Manchester, back in the day.
Unbelievable. Do you know what? Every time a UFC even brings a card to either London or Manchester, it sells out every single time, and the fans go wild. I think they do us a little bit dirty, I think, and I don't know why. Manchester's a massive city, and it's a massive fighting city, so I don't know why they're not doing more big shows here.
Exactly. I do agree. Look at the legends that came out of Manchester yourself. But yeah, let's talk about the big fight that we've got coming up next. Tim Wilde, a phenomenal fight. I'll call this one a battle of Britain. Battle of England, should we say? 155. Both of the top of the guys in the division in England at 155 in Bellator. That excites you.
Do you know what? I'm really excited for this one. Tim always comes to fight. He always brings the fire, so that's extra motivation for me, and I know it's going to be one that the fans are going to enjoy seeing as well.
Yeah, you talked about a very durable guy, and he showcased that in his last fight against Alfie Davis. Battled back to get the draw. What are you expecting? Obviously, you talked about their durability, but what are you expecting from Tim ultimately on the night?
I'm not sure. Do you know what? I watch a few of his fights, and he's different in different fights. You know, sometimes he throws caution to the wind, and he's just going all out guns blazing, and sometimes a little bit more technical, and he's dancing around a bit more. Against me, I expect him to either start fast or be a bit more cautious. You know, getting that takedown. I can't pinpoint it. I'm not sure. I've not even been focusing too much on what he's going to do, but all I'm going to be doing is marching forward, throwing bombs, getting a grip of him, and ragdolling. That's all I see in my brain.
Yeah, exactly. We know how you're fantastic on the mats, and you throw them, the good haymakers. But yes, you said you want to get back to that hangman style. So that tells me straight away that you're looking for that finish. You're looking back to get finishing ways.
That's all I'm doing, looking to finish. You know, when I fought Aiden Lee on Bellator, and there was sometimes I went for Peruvian necktie and the gator rolls, and honestly, I had so much more to give in them submissions, and I just give them up thinking, I don't want to kind of gas myself out or end up in a bad spot. So that's the kind of stuff that I know, I should have been putting all of them guys away. Georgia, I should have put him away. Aiden Lee, I should have put him away. The opportunities were there. Tim Wilde, honestly, I'm coming to put him away.
And do you think that an opportunity will present itself with a finish?
Not a doubt in my mind.
Short, snappy, sweet. I love it. But yeah. Obviously, without overlooking Tim, but do you feel like with a win over Tim, do you think that maybe pushes you towards the top 10 rankings? Because ultimately, you want to get to the top.
Yeah, do you know what? I've fought before, and I've been like, get me in the rankings and all this other kind of stuff. And now, honestly, if I get in the top 10 rankings, it's better just because I've got a little bit more direction. Maybe gives a bit more credibility to my name. But to be honest, I don't really give a shit about that anymore. You know, I want to put this guy away, and then whether I get in the rankings or not, I'm going to be calling out some of them guys in the top 10. And that's it. Honestly, this time I feel it in my heart. I want to really make a good run towards that title. And I'm not overlooking him in any way, shape or form. You know, he's tough as they come. He's durable. And he's one of the best lightweights over here in the UK. But I'm supremely confident in my skill and ability at this moment in time. And yeah, I just want to stop this guy. I want to put him away. I don't want to just get the win. I want to be able to look back on this fight and say, you know what? Yeah, I've done myself proud, and because I've won fights before, and honestly, like I said to you before, I felt I give more. I felt I had more in my heart, so I want to be looking back on this fight on the Sunday morning, thinking, yeah, you know what? You've done well. You've done really, really proud, and be happy and content when I'm watching it back.
Yeah, absolutely. If you look at the recent run, your losses, Mads Burnell, he's ranked. Daniel Whiteshaw, he's ranked. So obviously, there's no shame in them losses, and I feel like you're going to bounce back even better. You bounce back against Georgie, but I feel like you're going to show something different.
When I fought Vital, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't confident. I didn't believe in my abilities, and honestly, I was up there, and that was the difference in that fight. I just wasn't confident. Like this Saul Rogers right now, I feel like I would chew Daniel Vital apart. And even Mads Burnell is an absolutely unbelievable fighter. But again, it just I wasn't prepared. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't ready. Like against Vichel, my preparation could not have gone better. It was just kind of me being weak-minded in that fight that kind of inhibited me from doing well in that fight. Mads Berlel, that was just a lack of preparation, you know. But it's easier to say now when I'm sat on there. I really don't want to make excuses or anything like that. I just know. Do you know when you just know in your heart you could have given a little bit more? And I feel like all of them losses, like I could have just give a bit more. And if any of them guys come up to lightweight, because I ain't going back down to featherweight anymore, you know what I mean? It's a long way down for me. But if any of them boys come back up to lightweight, I would love the rematch with Vichel, and I'd love the rematch with Mads Bernal as well, because they just don't sit well in my heart, you know what I mean? I just felt like I had a little bit more to give.
Yeah, my last two questions about the fight. I'll ask them together. Obviously, you talked about that you wasn't really confident heading to the White Shoe. So how are you feeling heading into this one, confidence-wise, mentality-wise, and obviously, what's going to be the difference on fight day?
Do you know what? I'm not overlooking Tim in any way, shape, or form, but I'm feeling supremely confident. Honestly, I'm feeling absolutely confident. I believe in my striking more than ever now. My jiu-jitsu is the best it's ever been, and I feel like my wrestling is the best it's ever been, and I just feel like I'm a bit more well-rounded. Do you know what I mean? I mean, Tim can do it all. He can strike, he can wrestle a bit, he can grapple a bit, but I feel like pen to paper, like I'm just a bit more well-rounded in all of them areas. And as long as I turn up on the day, I feel like it should be a good win for me. This.
Absolutely. And my last few questions, we talked about Brenden earlier when you were fighting in Thailand, training in Thailand together, sorry. He's fighting soon. I just want to talk about, obviously, the PFL featherweight belt against Bob Jenkins on November 25th. I just want to know, how is he going to get on?
Do you know what? I believe in my heart this time that Brendan's going to do it. You know what I mean? I feel like fighting's all about energy. He wasn't in the right energy the last time he got to the final. He wasn't in the right mindset, mind frame. And this time, like, he's a different guy. I truly believe in my heart of hearts that Brendan's going to get that belt and is going to walk away with $1 million, 1,000,000%.
Brenden is a totally different animal. When he's flowing, he's got his striking flowing. He's confident. He's landing them punches. Honestly, I feel like there's no one on this earth that in that cage can stand with him.
I agree. You know what? He's also really improved his wrestling, his jiu-jitsu now, and I feel like he's much more well-rounded, you know. So you can do it all. I feel like it's going to be a good fight. This, and it's hard to take down over in Thailand, man. Yeah. That guy was hard to put down on his back.
Yeah, he must be going to Thailand for the right reasons. Obviously, phenomenal killers over there. So as you talked about, the takedown defense of Brenden is absolutely phenomenal. And obviously, hopefully, he brings it back on November 25th, and it'll be a fantastic year for England for itself. Leon Edwards, Brenden brings it back. Incredible.
There we go.
And hopefully, I'm presuming that gives you motivation, because it sees that obviously, especially the Leon Edwards side, because he's fighting out of England, he's winning a world title out of England.
I know it's crazy, you know. Back in the day, it was all about traveling, and don't get me wrong, I do like traveling to the States because there's a lot of good bodies over there, and it just gets me away from the family and all that. Like even over here, I've not had my kids for the last maybe 3 or 4 weeks now at a camp, just so I can kind of focus on what I need to do and get myself in that right mind frame. But the UK, there's a lot of good talent out here now, and I feel like the levels are kind of proving itself.
Yeah, and my last question I have for you: when are the dreads going to come back? I want the dreads back.
Do you know what? The dreads are going to come back when I stop fighting. Hey, brother, I fought in when did I fight? I fought in Manchester against that Ariel. I can't remember his name. Ariel something, and I shot him for a takedown. Pertea, I think it was.
Yeah, Pertea, yeah.
I shot him for a takedown. My dreads got caught underneath the back of his head. Do you know, like underneath here? And literally, I'm in the guillotine. Could not pull my head out. Next thing I remember, came waking up on my back, snoring. I was like, "Fuck that! Shave the dreads off." No, I'll never get caught in guillotines. Fuck the guillotines.
I thought the dreads looked cool. I thought you looked a little bit Jamaican, should we say?
Bro, I am Jamaican and they do look good, but you know what? Fucking, I'd rather win fights than look good. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. But thank you so much, Saul, for your time. Absolute pleasure. And wish you best of luck on October 29th. I hope you bring back.
Anytime, brother. Speak to you soon, mate.
You too.